Greetings to you and welcome to this lesson on the computer user interface. In this lesson, we're going to discuss how you as human being interacts with a computer that is not human. In our previous lesson, we said that you should think of a computer as a highly efficient assistant who follows your instructions. Someone might have been asking the question, but the computer is not a human being. So how will I give the computer instructions? How do I even interact with the computer? And how is that even possible? So in this lesson, we're going to discuss on how a human being interacts with the computer. Earlier computers had the command line interface where users were using the computer by writing lines of code. So for you to give instructions to a computer, you had to type a line of code to be able to give instructions to a computer. But modern computers have what we call the graphical user interface, where you interact with the computer using on-screen elements. In this lesson, therefore, we're going to discuss these on-screen elements. What are they? How does a human being interact with them? What are the features of these on-screen elements that permit human beings to effectively interact with them? So we are going to discuss these elements. You'd like to know that the computer user interface refers to the visual and the interactive environment that allows users to easily interact with the computer system. So in modern computers, the computer user interface is essential because it offers an intuitive and accessible way to operate a computer. Like we said, olden computers had what we call the command line interface. For administrative assistants, mastering the user interface of modern computers is very, very important because it will enable you to navigate, manage files, and use applications with ease. So skills that are essential in today's fast-paced office environments. So administrative assistants will be able to perform tasks that once required extensive command line knowledge using simple point and click actions. So you simply need to understand the elements of modern computer user interface. This lesson will help you to explore these user-friendly interfaces, showing you how they simplify complex operations and enhance efficiency in your everyday work. The first thing we want to discuss is the elements of a computer user interface, the modern computer user interface. We are not studying the command line. We are studying the graphical user interface. So what are the elements? Let me take you to my screen so we can see some of these elements together. On this screen, it's known as a desktop. This is the main workspace where you interact with your computer. So when you switch on the computer, this is the first screen that you see. I call it a window, the parent window in your computer. Because in our case, we're going to talk about Windows computers. There are other types of operating systems, but we're going to talk about Windows computers. So on this desktop, you have icons, you have folders, icons that represent files, icons that represent folders, icons that represent applications. On this same desktop, there is what we call a taskbar that is at the bottom of your screen. So this is the taskbar at the bottom of the screen, this black area here, and it provides quick access to open programs and system functions. So you see, this folder is open, this application is running. I'm using OBS to record, that's why you see it there. So you see there's some icons there, we can use it to open any application. Then there is a mouse pointer You see, this white arrow with the hollow around it is known as a mouse pointer. I move it by moving my mouse on a table. So it's known as a mouse pointer, which is a visual indicator controlled by the mouse, and it allows you to select, click, and interact with on-screen elements. So if I take this mouse pointer to any icon on the screen, I should be able to click, I should be able to select, and I can interact with on-screen elements. There is also these little images, these graphical representations that you have on the desktop. It is also found in applications, found in folders, found in other windows. So which are graphical representations of files, folders, commands that can be executed when clicked. And when your mouse is allowed to rest on any of them, it provides a brief description of what the icon represents. Let's allow our mouse to rest on the Word icon. It tells us that it creates beautiful documents, easily work with others, and enjoy the read. Then we have the keyboard input. The keyboard input allows you to input text, navigate through menus, and trigger actions using keys on your keyboard. Then there are menus. Menus are lists of options or commands that you can select from to perform actions or access features. Let us see what it looks like. If I right click on the desktop on an empty space, you see here is a list. It's a menu list. Let's now go to a Word and right click. You see the list is slightly different. If I go to the recycle bin and right click, you see the options are different. If I go to this PC and right click, the options are also different. That is what it is. Then we have windows. Windows are rectangular frames that contain running applications or open files. Let us see how it looks. If I open OBS, which I'm using to record, you see that it opens in a window. I can reduce it. You see, this is a window. You see the rectangular frame. You see the area. That is a window. Let us open a word processor and we see how it looks like. A word processor will open. So this is a word processor that opens. It opens in a window. You see the rectangular frame is there. The window is there. So that is a window. If we open a folder, you're going to see the folder opens and we have it in a window. So this is a window and it represents a file. We can resize it. We can make it big. We can make it small. We can carry around. We can play with it around, multitask with it. We can make it large, full screen. We can minimize. We can close. Another element is the Start menu. The Start menu provides access to programs, settings, and files installed on your computer. In my case, it is found to the bottom left. When I allow my mouse to rest on it, you see it appears Start. So if I click on the Start, you will see it provides access to all applications. So I can see all the applications that are installed on my computer, and I can go back and I see the other files that are available for me. Then there is a File Explorer. The File Explorer is an application that is used to browse and manage files and folders on your computer. And finally, we have feedback elements. Feedback elements are alerts or notifications and system sounds that provide information or feedback about important events. Let us take, for example, if I want to clear my recycle bin, look at what happens. There's an alert that tells me, are you sure that you want to permanently delete these 7 items? So that's an alert. You need to be careful. You need to always read when it comes out because it gives you important information about what you're about to do and gives you orientation on how to do it. So if I say yes, it's going to empty the recycle bin. And what is a sequential workflow in a computer? When we talk about sequential workflow, we're talking about from switching on the computer to switching off the computer. So you switch on the computer by pressing on the on button found on the computer. When you turn on the computer, the operating system loads. It prepares the computer for first use. When it loads and that process goes to an end, the desktop appears, displaying icons and the taskbar. When the desktop appears, the computer is ready for use. Then you have to use the start menu, or you double click on an icon found on the desktop to open a program. Remember that desktop icons to open programs are shortcuts. So if you want to access these programs, use the start menu. Let's see how this turns out. This is, if I want to open Word, I can use this desktop icon. If I double click on it, it's going to open. I can use the taskbar icon. If I click on it, Word will open. At the same time, I can go to my start menu and I take all applications and I can now look for Word here, and that is where I can launch or open Word. Once an application opens, you need to create a file using that your application. Remember that applications help you to create files. It means that a specific application, because applications extend functionalities of computers. So any application has its files that it can create. Let me take, for example, a word processor. A word processor creates documents, while a spreadsheet application like Excel creates workbooks. It creates workbooks. Let's take an application like a video recording application like OBS. OBS will create video files. So each application has its specific type of files that it will create. So you need to know the file you want to create and know the application that will help you to create that file. Then you open the application. When you open the application, you create a file. When you create the file, you have to enter content. Entering content will not be the same. If you want to create an audio file and you're going to use an audio mixing software, then you're going to record using your microphone. That will be now entering your content. But if you want to create a Word document, then you enter your content using the keyboard. And if you want to create a video file, then you enter your content using a video camera to record. So you realize that the content will not be the same. When you are finished entering the content, you realize that you will use your computer to create many files. We have just had 3 examples: video files, audio files, documents, spreadsheets. These are examples. You may now want to organize these files into folders. So you see, we use applications to create files. Files are organized into folders for better management. So it means you use a folder to put your files inside. And the folder can have a hierarchical structure. You can have reports. And inside the report folders, you have first quarter report, second quarter report, third quarter report. So you realize that is how you're going to organize your files. Then you will now have to multitask. It means when you have organized these files, you now have many things in your computer. You have maybe video files, audio files, documents, all right? You will now need to be able to switch between applications, between tasks. Whatever you're doing on the computer, you should be able to switch, move from one to another. And at the end, you should be able to shut down your computer. And you don't shut down your computer by pressing the power button. You shut down your computer using the start menu. There is a power button there. You click on the power button and you take shutdown. I cannot shut down my own because it's a computer I'm using to record. So if I shut it down, all right, you understand what I'm saying. So we cannot shut this one down. So that is the sequential workflow in a computer. And what are the techniques? What are the techniques that you can use to develop effective computer use skills? Technique number 1, basic navigation and file management. Start by familiarizing yourself with the desktop environment. Learn how to open, close, and switch between programs using a taskbar and icons. Remember, icons represent either applications, files, or folders. And remember these three very well. They are related. Applications will help you to create files, and specific files. It means that each application has its own type of files that it can create. That is why each file has its own application that it can open. For example, if you don't have a PDF reader in your phone, you cannot open a PDF file that you download from WhatsApp. Okay. You need to master these. And the different files are grouped together in folders for file organizations. So the common icons that you can see on your desktop, like we said, you need to familiarize yourself with the desktop environment, know what is found where and what is used for doing what. You need to know these ones. So let me take you to the desktop once again, and we see the common icons that are found on the desktop. This is our desktop. The common icons that we can easily see on our desktop is my computer. My computer, in this case, in the case of my own computer, is written this PC. It provides quick access to your computer's storage devices, file system, and connected hardware. It allows you to browse files and folders across different drives. When you allow your mouse to rest on it, it provides a quick description of what it does. The next is the recycle bin. The recycle bin is where deleted files will go to, and you can recover them or permanently delete them. Remember that the computer is aware that you can make mistakes and delete files accidentally. When that is done, these files will be kept in the recycle bin where you can always come and recover the files. Then we have the application icons. Application icons are found on the desktop as a result of a shortcut. You can see a little pointing arrow that's coming from bottom left. It tells you that it is a shortcut. And there are shortcuts to frequently used applications like word processors or web browsers or games. So the applications you find on the desktops are shortcuts for the applications you use often. I remember my early days with the computer. If I did not find an application icon on the desktop, I thought that application was not installed on the computer. Contrary, the place to determine whether an application is installed on a computer or not is the start menu. If you do not find the application in the start menu, then you can conclude it is not in the computer. And remember that the application only extends a computer functionality, and all applications can be installed on all computers. It's true that some computers will not function properly when some applications are installed on it. That's, however, a discussion for another day. Then we have folder icons. Folder icons are These are folder icons. Like, let me take this one, courses. It's a folder icon. It tells you the folders that are found inside. You have different folders that are found inside. Then you have file icons. File icons are individual files like Word documents, PDFs, or spreadsheets. These are also found on the desktop. Then you need to familiarize yourself with creating folders to organize your files properly. Learn how to save, rename, move, and delete files, and understand where your documents are saved. This will always help you to avoid losing important work. So if you want to open a folder on the desktop, you just right click, you take new, and you take new folder. You'll be able to give the folder a name. You give the folder a name, and that is it. In this folder, we can create other folders as we want to do. And we can create in a folder other folders. So it depends on how you want to organize your files in folders. Then the next technique is you need to master the use of basic computer applications. Get comfortable creating and editing text documents. Learn basic formatting techniques like adjusting font sizes, adding headers, and inserting images or tables. So word processors are essential for writing letters, reports, and resumes. So learn how to enter data into rows and columns using simple formulas for calculations and create charts or graphs to visualize data. So spreadsheets are valuable for managing budgets and for analyzing data. Then also master creating professional looking slideshows. And that's done by learning how to add text, images, animations, and transitions. So presentations are often used for sharing ideas or data in meetings or classrooms. Then finally, you want to learn how to navigate the internet using browsers like Google Chrome, Firefox, or Microsoft Edge. So understand how to search for information, bookmark useful websites, and use browser tabs to multitask efficiently. The third technique is to be intentional about using the computer. So when learning to use a computer, approach it with seriousness and purpose. Set a goal of what you want to use the computer to do. Then practice regularly how to use the computer to execute that task. You cannot know everything. Modern computers are designed to be user-friendly and intuitive. So many tasks, such as creating documents, searching the internet, or troubleshooting, can be done by exploring options and features found inside the computer. All right, so you have to take advantage of this and experiment with the tools and discovering new ways to be productive. And remember that computers have built-in safeguards, and making a mistake will not ruin the system. So you have to feel free to experiment, knowing that you can always undo actions and restart maybe your computer if need be. Then the fourth technique to develop this skill is to understand basic computer security and privacy. So as you become more familiar with computers, it is important to learn about security basics. Use strong passwords, unique passwords for different accounts, and be careful about what you share online. People just see content, they forward as they receive, but they lose sight of the fact that when you forward any content, you endorse the information in it. So we need to be careful and know what we do at what time and why. And regularly, we have to back up important files to an external hard drive or a cloud storage service like Google Drive. Some people use Dropbox, others use OneDrive, but I use Google Drive. So you want to choose the one that works well for you, and it ensures that your data is safe in case of hardware failure or accidental deletion. Then you need to perform basic troubleshooting. So learn how to resolve common problems like unresponsive programs, slow performance, or printer connection issues. Remember that restarting the computer or closing a frozen program often solves many problems. So when troubleshooting, take advantage of built-in help menus in software or search online for solutions. So many tutorial videos are available for free, helping you to resolve issues quickly. All right, thank you very much for being a part of this lesson. We have discussed about the computer user interface, which represents the environment through which users interact with the computer. And we have touched elements of a Windows computer, and we have discussed the essential or the sequential workflow. You should master the techniques of developing basic computer navigation skills and having the ability to use common applications like word processors, spreadsheet, presentation software, and web browsers. And as you learn, you are encouraged to be intentional about the computer as it remains a valuable tool in modern offices, and be cautious of threats while developing basic troubleshooting skills. Computers have the potential to completely change the way you work, and we should embrace its use. We encourage you to practice regularly, and you should not be afraid of the computer. You will not damage your computer. Thank you very much, and see you in our next lesson, where we're going to take a particular focus on word processing.